As the dawn lightly colored the sky, the battlefield of Nagashino was filled with the smell of blood and sweat. The grass, wet with dew, darkened to a reddish black, as if telling the sad story of the battle. The Takeda cavalry advanced with thunderous steps, their eyes burning like wild beasts, overflowing with the spirit to seek victory even in the face of death. Yet, their valor was powerless before Nobunaga's tactics and the sequential firing of matchlock guns. The sounds of gunfire, ringing like bells of hell, caused brave horsemen to fall one by one to the ground. From afar, overlooking the battlefield, Nobunaga wore a cold smile, certain of his victory. In one corner of the battlefield, Takeda Katsuyori witnessed this horrific scene. His face twisted with intense emotion as he surveyed the battlefield enveloped in thick fog. Damn it, what is happening? How can they fire the matchlocks so quickly? His voice could be heard screaming. Cutting through the tense air, a Takeda retainer, Kasuga Teratsuna, clad in armor and riding his horse, appeared. With a stern expression, he rode up to Katsuyori and spoke in a strict tone. At that moment, Teratsuna held a letter in his hand. He extended it towards Katsuyori, saying, "Lord Katsuyori, please read this." The letter, as if containing secrets that could alter fate, quietly passed into Katsuyori's hands. In February of the second year of the Genki era 1571, Shingen Takeda finally made his move. He began a march with a large army, aiming for the lands of Tatami and Mikawa, territories of Tokugawa Ieyasu. Under his fierce assault, castles such as Oyama, Eiju, Tanomi, Noda, and Narengi fell one after another to the Takeda forces. However, the joy of victory was short-lived, as Shingen's body was being ravaged by illness. One night, within the privacy of his camp, Shingen suddenly coughed up blood. "Cough, this damned illness." His voice was filled with pain, but his gaze still held determination. As Shingen's illness worsened, his retainers, concerned for their lord's health, advised a return to Kai. Shingen agreed and led his troops back to Kai. That autumn, news of Nobunaga's burning of Mount Hiei reached him. "Nobunaga, his acts are like those of a demon from hell," Shingen murmured, feeling a growing sense of crisis as Nobunaga's power continued to expand. Nobunaga is not to be underestimated. What should be done? He muttered to himself, sinking deeper into his thoughts. The next day, Shingen summoned his retainer, Kasuga Teratsuna. "Teratsuna, I have decided to let the world know of my illness. But this is part of my strategy. I will assign you an important role. You are to fake my death and deceive the enemy." Kasuga Teratsuna nodded deeply, engraving the weight of Shingen's plan in his heart. "Understood, my lord. As you command, I will deceive the enemy and lead our forces to victory." With the end of this secret meeting, Shingen's plan to fake his illness and death quietly began to unfold. In January of the fourth year of the Genki era 1573, the Takeda forces invaded Mikawa, and by February 10th, they had captured Noda Castle. Their momentum unstoppable, they placed Akiyama Terashige in Iwamura Castle on March 6th, solidifying their control. Shingen summoned Kasuga Teratsuna and secretly prepared dove's blood. He then feigned coughing up blood in front of his retainers, making them believe his condition was worsening. By also refraining from eating, he visibly weakened day by day, leaving a lasting impression on everyone. In early April, citing his deteriorating health, Shingen announced his retreat back to Kai. During this process, he secretly called together Kasuga Teratsuna, Yamagata Masakage, Baba Nobuharu, and Naito Masahide to disclose a grave plan. "I shall pretend to die on my way back to Kai. To deceive the enemy, we must first deceive our own," Shingen instructed quietly, yet firmly. Teratsuna questioned, "My lord, is it truly all right to proceed without informing anyone else?" The more people know of this plan, the greater the chance it will leak. I will summon Katsuyori to be my successor, but even he must not know that I am alive. I feel we need another layer to truly deceive Tokugawa and Oda. Does anyone have a clever idea? Shingen asked. Naito Masahide answered, perhaps letting them think we are hiding your death will add credibility to our ruse. Very well, let's proceed that way. As you command, my lord, Taratsuna said, looking around at his companions. The three nodded deeply, accepting Shingen's command. They then initiated the strategy of pretending Shingen had passed away but publicly claiming he had retired to pass the leadership to Katsuyori, thus concealing Shingen's death. This plan was meant to deceive not just the enemy but also their allies. In the third year of the Tensho era 1575, as spring arrived, the Battle of Nagashino entered a new phase. Shingen Takeda disguised himself as one of Kasuga Taratsuna's men and decided to go to the battlefield himself. Shingen's appearance was completely changed, and no one, except for Taratsuna, knew of his presence. As Shingen had predicted, in the past 2 years, Oda Nobunaga had expelled Ashikaga Yoshiaki, effectively ending the Muromachi shogunate, and had also defeated and forced the suicides of the Asakura and Azai clans. Additionally, Nobunaga was relentless, having annihilated 20,000 followers of the Ikoiki and Ai's Nagashino by setting their fortress ablaze. Surround Nagashino Castle, but do not attack at will. We must draw Nobunaga here, Shingen quietly commanded Taratsuna. While the Takeda forces encircling Nagashino Castle were overwhelmingly strong, under Shingen's order, Kasuga Taratsuna, Yamagata Masakage, Baba Nobuharu, and Naito Masahide cleverly moderated their attacks to maintain a stalemate. Nobunaga decided to send reinforcements to Nagashino Castle. Shingen, studying a map, surmised Nobunaga's formation would be around Shitaragahara. Meanwhile, inside Nagashino Castle, a sudden incident of food burning occurred. With only a few days' worth of provisions left, the castle's commander sent Tori Suniemen as a secret messenger to Okazaki Castle. Blending into the darkness of night as a desperate courier, Suniemen reached Okazaki Castle and learned that Nobunaga was entering with 30,000 reinforcements, and he hurried back to Nagashino Castle. However, he was captured by Takeda forces just before reaching it. Ordered by Katsuyori, he was promised a reward to shout to the castle that no reinforcements were coming and to surrender, but Suniemen instead shouted, "Hold out for just 2 or 3 more days, tens of thousands of reinforcements are arriving." For this, Suniemen was tragically executed on a cross. Watching from a distance, Shingen reflected, such a thing is not a strategy. A man who escaped the castle alone, reached Okazaki Castle, and returned to Nagashino, would not be swayed by a mere promise of a reward. That should be obvious with a little thought. Shingen felt doubts about keeping Katsuyori as the head in the future. However, since Nagashino Castle did not fall immediately, it clarified the movements of Nobunaga's reinforcements, which he saw as an opportunity. Shingen instructed Taratsuna, "The reinforcements are moving. Prepare to draw them into our trap. This battle is far from over." Taratsuna nodded, "Yes, I will tighten the resolve of our men." There was an unwavering determination for victory in the Takeda family. Shingen's strategy at Nagashino was being woven quietly yet assuredly. This battle was increasingly entangled in the grand strategy envisioned by Shingen.